Hi folks, Sandro here with more cartoon news and shenanigans, and today we've got a real treat for you guys. A long-awaited video finally comes to fruition. If you don't know, if you're new to the channel, every time a new Pixar film comes out, I do a review. I call the video something along the lines of every Pixar movie ranked. I personally, Sandro, this is my tier list and I rank them. So if your favorite movie is, lower down the list, don't be too butthurt. This is just my personal list. And today, we're continuing on from last time, right? It's been a while. It's been a while since the last Pixar movie. The last time I did a video, it was about Turning Red. Yeah, I ended up ranking that very low. And I also forgot Luca existed, so I had to go. The last episode is literally a double whammy where I did a review of Luca and Turning Red and rank them. This time it's going to be a much shorter video. I'm only doing the newly released Lightyear, right? So this is a bizarre Toy Story spinoff. And I can tell you right off the bat before we rank it, I was not a fan of this movie. Expect it to be on the bottom half of this tier list for sure. And I just want to do a quick recap. And by the way, spoilers for Lightyear. I am going to be talking about the plot of Lightyear, but I want to do a quick recap because some of you guys might be like wondering what's going on here. So I rank my movies in a pretty weird way. Or no, it's a pretty good way, I'd say. But here's how I do it. So, usually people like to rate things out of 10, okay? So like a 10 out of 10 would be like a perfect score. Right? So instead of giving like something a perfect score, I basically say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make 5 tiers. We're going to make 5 tiers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If your movie is in this tier, so I personally think that Toy Story 1 is the best Pixar film they've ever made. So I put that one at the very top. And then this movie at the very bottom is Cars 3, which I think is the absolute worst Pixar film ever made. And so just to give a quick recap, so the best of the best, Toy Story, Monsters, Inc., The First Incredibles, Finding Nemo, and WALL-E. Then we have the great movies. These are movies I would give like a 7 or an 8 out of 10. Up, Ratatouille, Toy Story 3, Toy Story 2, Brave, Coco, and Inside Out. You guys actually... out of all the tiers, last time on my last video and after we did a live stream, you guys actually said you liked this tier. Out of all the tiers on this tier list, apparently you think this is the best rated tier. So all of these movies that I have in the great category, you guys really agreed that these were great films. They weren't like amazing over the top films, and they weren't, mediocre or bad films. They were just pretty solid over, above average. So you guys really like this tier. Mediocre. So this is a 5 or a 6 out of 10. We got Cars. Hold on. Which Cars is this? The first Cars movie. The very first Cars movie. A Bug's Life and Monsters University. Yeah. So that's, I think that movie was just pretty meddling, honestly. That's why it's here. It's my tier. But, yeah, compared to the original Monsters, Inc., yeah, it was nowhere near that level. Just a pretty middling movie. But it had a great soundtrack. That's the one thing. Everybody, whenever people talk about Monsters University, you never really hear them talk about the soundtrack. It was a pretty upbeat and catchy soundtrack. So I did like the soundtrack. But as for the plot, not so much. In the bad category, we got Luca, Toy Story 4, a movie that didn't need to exist. Similarly to Lightyear, which we're about to talk about. So yeah, 2 Toy Story movies that legit didn't need to exist. If you guys have seen Toy Story 3, you know that was a great ending to the franchise, but they kept going. They just kept going. Then we got The Incredibles 2, which I thought was pretty bad. Like, my God, they even forgot... Okay, one of the big things of this movie is they're trying to stop, like, a giant iceberg from crashing into the city, and they literally forget the first Incredibles. Dash can run on water, and they forgot about it. It was a key plot point of the first movie, and they literally forgot that Dash can run on water to stop the iceberg. Or maybe maybe the reason that they didn't have Dash run on water is because they knew that Dash could stop the iceberg, and they were like, okay, we cannot let Dash run. We just got to hope the audience forgets that he can run on water. But yeah, literally the entire time I was watching that movie, I'm like, why doesn't Dash just like run on the water and just, start running circles around the iceberg? I don't know. The writers clearly forgot. It had been like, 15, 20 years since the last Incredibles movie. So, yeah, I think it was 15, right? I remember at the beginning of the movie, there's like, you had a bunch of the different actors. They're like, yeah, it's been like, 15 years since the last one. And they also do allude, like, hopefully it won't be another 15 years until the third Incredibles. If there's not an Incredibles 3, I wouldn't be sad. Like, I would not, like, I really thought that they tainted the franchise with Incredibles 2. And I am a pretty big fan. I do have the entire family here. I do have them. There's, wait, where's Mr. Incredible? I only want Mr. Incredible. There we go. There's the Mr. Incredible. I have the whole family. I got the collectors, these little collector toys. Yeah, I really enjoyed the first Incredibles. Thought it was a masterpiece. This Incredibles didn't live it up to it. Soul, pretty boring film. Onward, I talked about this one. So my dad passed away at a very young age, and I go watch my first review where I actually rank and talk about every film. It is like 2 hours, so it could be hard to get through. But personally, just because I lost the entire movie is about losing your dad. They lose their dad like at a young age also. And I really didn't like the conclusion as someone who actually did lose my dad from a young age. So I just don't like that film. I don't want to explain in full detail, but it has to do with the ending. It's like, come on. They really... They basically turn it into this thing where it's like, oh, instead of meeting with your dad, it's like you can just focus on the people that are still living. Focus on your brother, right? Because they're a pair of brothers that are kind of awkward together. I'm not around anymore, so focus on the family that's alive. It's an okay message, but as somebody who just lost not recently, it was obviously years ago, I wanted better closure. I wanted some better closure. I was just not happy with the ending there where, the main character didn't get to meet his father. And, I felt like it would have been a lot more heartwarming if he actually just got to talk with his dad. That's something if I had one more chance to talk with my dad, I would be heartbroken if I didn't get the chance to talk to him. And if there was, if magic was real, yeah, I would have been crushed if I didn't get to talk to him. And I just really didn't like how that film ended. And pretty mediocre. Honestly, I felt like they were playing up Tom Holland a lot. Like, he's popular as Spider-Man, but I don't know, man. This felt like a MCU backwater, Let's just grab a bunch of the MCU actors and see if they can work in other films. Wasn't the biggest fan of Onward. And then for the awful tier, oh god, my legendary Cars 3. Yeah, why does everyone always bring that up? Okay, we got Cars 2, which needs no introduction for its not goodness. Turning Red, I've talked about this before. I am Canadian. I did not think this was a great film. So here in Canada, oh god, do I have to go through this every time? Okay, here's why I didn't like this film. Here in Canada, the population is something crazy like 70% white Europeans, okay? Then the rest of it is, it's a very mixed country, the rest of it. But we have a lot of French people in Quebec, right? A large portion of our country is French speakers in Quebec, the white Europeans that speak English mostly, and then we have the indigenous people, right? The people up far north. If you guys watch the Olympics, Canada hosted the Olympics, like what was it, back in 2012 or something? You see the tribes, they're all dancing, they're beating drums, they're dancing, they have those feathered headdresses on and whatever. These are like the natives, like the aboriginals up north, right? So these are like the three main groups of Canada. So let's make a fucking movie about China, like literally it's like, so here's this film about this Chinese family, instead of like a regular old Canadian family. Sure, why the fuck not? This movie absolutely felt like it was pandering to China. That's just my opinion. And I've talked about it dozens of times. The film industry, They want those Chinese dollars. They're going to make their films more centric to a Chinese audience. And I really felt this film literally just threw Canada under the bus just to get those China bucks. And because of the pandemic, they did not end up cleaning up in China. You know, this movie didn't even go to theaters. It was released on Disney Plus. I actually did another like a half hour video talking about how sad it was for Pixar employees, how they worked on this film for years and years. And then at the last second, Disney's like, yeah, it's not going to box office. We're shipping it off to Disney Plus. So, that wasn't good. The Good Dinosaur, just like this rip-off of The Lion King, and it's awful. Nothing was memorable about this film, except for that weird scene where they take some berries and it makes them like trip out like they're on drugs. Nothing about this film stands out. It was a garbage film. Finding Dory, I've talked about this one. Why is this one in the bottom tier? The movie is a plot convenience shithole. Literally everything that happened. Dory just remembers where the plot is half the time. And the other half of the time, it's just very convenient. You know, the entire like ending of the movie, there's a giant truck and the truck's going to go down the hill. And, you know, just isn't it so convenient? Like, you know, the bird is there. And as soon as Dory gets into the truck, oh, of course, the trucker left his water bottle open so Dory would have water. You know, heaven forbid there was actually conflict. So we've seen this time and time again. Throughout the movie, the characters almost die like 10, 20 times, and they get saved by plot conveniences like it's no one's business. Hate this film. Hate it. Cars 3, you know the drill. This is my most number one hated film. I really hate the message that one day you're going to get old and just give the fuck up on your dreams. This is what this film tells you. Give up on your dreams. Let the next generation take over. You're old. You're outdated. Just fuck off. That was the message I got from this film. I don't know about you guys, but that like all I got from this film was garbage. And I was pretty sad. I wanted Lightning McQueen to win the race at the end of the movie. Right? Like, it would have been so cool. This outdated car, he's not as fast as the newer generation, but using his experience, using his tricks, maybe he could chisel out a win, you know, by training hard every day and still just doing it, just pulling off something that no one was expecting. And no, they technically win the race as a team. It was so cheesy. The entire film was one of these like feminist types of films, I felt, where, you know, the girl ends up taking over and winning. These are the crazy type of people that use the messaging like the future is female and whatever. I was having none of this garbage film. And again, I hate the message that just one day you're going to get old, so just give up. And here's the sad part. Lightning McQueen, like, how old is he genuinely? Like, I can't get a good read on the age of a car, but, like, he still seems young, you know? He's, like, this is the third movie, but, like, he still seems young. It felt like, also, why can't they just get upgrades? These are not, like, living, or maybe they are living things. I don't know the psychology or the anatomy. That's the word I was looking for. I don't know the anatomy of a car, but I've seen some images where they have like, you know, muscles and stuff inside. I don't know if those are real or whatever, but I don't know what the situation is, but holy crap, they're cars. Why can't they just get upgrades? We literally see them changing tires and, you know, I'm sure there's examples where the parts, very rare parts in the cars were replaced. And I'm just out here like, Lightning McQueen must be like a millionaire by now. Why can't he just buy the newest parts, you know? So yeah, it's really weird. I feel there's just a disconnect here. This is different between human race. Like if you're a human racer, yeah, you're biological. You're going to get old, you know? But these are cars, man. These can be upgraded. I'm 100% sure that there is some kind of way to upgrade these cars and make it so they can just keep living forever. And not only living forever, but getting the newest, like, you know, mechanical parts. They're machines. Even though they're alive, they're still machines. You can upgrade these things. Better tires, you know, better internals, better everything. I think that there was just a huge disconnect with this movie from humans to cars, and I hated it. And then we have Buzz Lightyear. Where is this one going? So here we go. This is the main topic of the film. Now that we're all caught up, maybe I shouldn't have spent 14 minutes. Maybe I shouldn't have spent 14 minutes talking about my old tier. Okay, let's get into it. Let's just get into it. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I rambled on for 15 minutes. Okay, now that we're all caught up, though. So Lightyear, I am putting Lightyear right there. Right there. That's where Lightyear's going. 0 to 2 out of 10. I thought this film was fucking awful. Was it as bad as Cars 3? No. Also, people are going to say, Sandro, you know, the animation in these movies, like, they're all good now, right? You look at some of the older ones, like, yeah, if you go back and watch The Incredibles 1 and Toy Story 1 and a few of these older ones, the animation obviously isn't what it could be, right? But modern day Pixar, there's never really a complaint about the animation anymore. It's literally all about the storytelling. They have animation down. Like, there's no possible way they could screw animation up from this point forward. Beautiful. Lightyear was a beautiful film. There were some, like, whoa. A beautifully animated film. You know, there was some great scenes. There was some great light shows, you know. The scenes when he's time traveling look very gorgeous, you know, and they see the space, and you know he's looking when he does the turn around planets and things, the sun, you know, everything looked up to par and beyond. I would say, yeah, to infinity and beyond. Everything looked pretty solid. Unfortunately, the plot, I couldn't give a shit. You know, the entire. Okay, so the first thing. Let's start out. This movie begins. Okay, hold on. Let me get comfortable here and move this carpet. The movie begins, by telling you in a black screen. This is very un-Pixar-like. Usually Pixar, actually I noticed it with Coco. Coco did a bit of narration at the beginning of their film, okay? And then we find out, oh no, Coco, you know, or not Coco, what was the kid's name again? Miguel? Forget his name. The main kid of Coco, whatever the hell his name is, the movie starts out with narration, but then it's like it was a trick. He's not narrating the film. He was actually talking to like some children or something, or was it his family? I can't remember exactly. But basically, Pixar is a company that knows you don't really want to start a film with some exposition and narration. Weirdly enough, no, this film doesn't start out with the exposition. It starts out in a very bizarre way where it says, you know, in 1997, Andy went to go see a film. So this movie is so unnecessary right off the bat. This is a spin-off of Toy Story. This is a movie within a movie, right? You know, it's movieception, right? So unnecessary. This is literally just, they made this film to make money and it flopped at the box. I'm so happy it flopped. Trash. Make fresh stuff. Just stop relying on Toy Story. You know, like I said, if they don't make an Incredibles 3, I won't cry about it. I'd rather just have something fresh and new. But, no, we got Lightyear, and it was very unnecessary. And it starts out, like I said, in 1997, Andy went to go see a movie, and then it was like, this is that film. No, Andy went to go see a movie that inspired him to get a Buzz Lightyear toy, and this is that film. This is the film that made Andy want to buy a Buzz Lightyear toy for his movie, for his toy collection. Oh my god. For his birthday, in the first Toy Story film, right? He gets the Buzz Lightyear for his birthday. This is the film that inspires Andy to want a Buzz Lightyear toy. And, this, like everybody else has said already, you know, everyone else, if you've seen other reviewers and other people talk about this film, Andy would have hated this film. Okay, and not even, we can also get into that bizarre LGBT LMNOP scene, right, where later on in the film, right, it's actually pretty early on in the film, not even that late, but Buzz has like this black commander, right, and so Buzz screws up. He decides to work alone, and he screws up. He's supposed to fly the ship safely away from the alien vines that are attacking them. he ends up hitting his thruster against like the rock side cliff, and they get stranded on the planet. And so it's all his fault. Everything is his fault. And over time, right, he has to do this like hyperdrive. So he goes in space. They do give you an explanation that like when you're traveling at the speed of light or whatever, like time slows down for you, but the people around you still experience like real time. So Buzz does his trip around whatever, and he comes back, and it's like every time he comes back, it's like 4 years later, right? So he's basically seeing the planet has been evolving as he's been away. We get to see the commander. She gets older. Then she meets a lesbian at some point. Then it shows them getting like married, and then she gets pregnant, and they have a kiss. And you guys know I'm pretty right wing. I'm pretty conservative. I don't want to see this in a kids movie. Like, what the fuck is this shit? Nobody wanted to see this in a kids movie. Many people boycotted the film. I definitely recommend not watching it. It's a garbage film to begin with, but on top of that, Disney has been pushing their bullshit agenda, and it's been just absolutely repulsive. Why in kids films? Don't do it in kids films. You want to make a mature movie? You want to make a rated R film? Those are the places, right? When people are adults, they can, they have a better understanding of who they are, who their identity is. I don't want to be seeing this shit in a freaking kids movie. And so it was there. It absolutely was there. And it was so bizarre. You guys have been, okay, I do these live streams every Tuesday. You guys are like, Sandro, what the hell was up with that scene? Yeah, so they're lesbians, but one of them gets pregnant. And then, so you're left wondering, like, how, because she gets pregnant. And as generations pass by, eventually the granddaughter becomes like part of the core, like Buzz Lightyear team. You see these 4 characters. It's kind of hard to see them, but one of these characters, you see this black astronaut looking girl here. Very hard to see her, but she's the granddaughter of like Buzz's original commander. And it was so weird. It's like, they're lesbians. They're having a lesbian wedding. And by the way, one of them's pregnant. It was like, what the fuck is going on? So you guys kept asking me, you were like, Sandro, what was up with that scene? The only thing I can explain here is that I have a theory that she was a slut. Okay. Pixar, this is the theory, okay? There's a lot of Pixar theory. My theory is that Buzz's original commander, what was her name? Hathorn, whatever the hell her name was. She was actually a slut. Oh, no, wait. Which one of them got pregnant? Was it the white girl or the black? I can't remember which one was pregnant. Whichever one of them was pregnant, whichever one of the two lesbians, or I guess they were bisexual then, whichever one of the two of them was pregnant, they were a town bicycle, and they were secretly fucking around. So that's my theory. Why was she pregnant? She's a slut. She's a dirty slut. Oh my God. How else do you explain it? Wait, can we get a picture? We got to get a picture. I'm so sorry. We have to go fucking find this now. Lightyear, pregnant lesbian, I guess. Is that what's going to come up here? How did the astronaut get, which one of them was pregnant though? It shows it for a split second that like one of them has a bigger stomach. It's weird because I watched this film yesterday and I literally can't remember which one of the two was pregnant. How did Alicia, okay, maybe it was the white one then. How did Alicia got pregnant? Sorry if this is a dumb question, but is it normal for a lesbian to do that? This guy knows and you guys, I have a lot of younger viewers. You guys were asking me, you're like, Sandro, what the fuck was this scene? Oh my God. Most cases I've seen IRL is that they usually adopt a child. Are there special medical procedures for a pregnancy? It's a movie set in space with other sci-fi technology. It's likely that they are an explorative vessel to have sperm samples stored. I don't know about this one. I think she was a slut. No, guys. No. Anyone who's making up shit, she was just a damn dirty slut, and that's all you need to know. There's other ways that she could have got, what is it, in vitro fertilization? Is that what it's called? I can't remember. No issue. I thought, oh, so maybe they got a sperm donor to get knocked up. It could have been. It could have been, but I like my headcanon better. She was just a damn dirty whore. Uh, yeah, it could have been. It could have been. Who knows? Who knows? We'll never know. It's up to, it's up to the user's imagination, but that scene was just so stupid. Not only do they want you to see a lesbian kiss, they want you to see a lesbian pregnant and be like, how the fuck did that happen? It's like, it's weird that we have an entire movie about space, and the only thing that people want to discuss about this film is this fucking scene with the stupid lesbian being pregnant. Okay, it's just so sad. We could be talking about a great space movie with a great plot. The plot was garbage, so we have to focus on the stupid, retarded writing. Okay, it truly was that bad. It truly was that bad. And so I want to get into the plot. So they had to... I basically gave you the big plot line there, with the lesbian thing. And they try and do this scene, right? Oh, by the way, did I bring that up? So I mentioned how at the beginning, it's like in 1997, Andy went to go see this movie. And I'm like, yes, I'm totally sure in 1997, when like gay marriage was banned across North America, and this thing was very highly frowned upon, putting, any kind of gay material in a kid's movie. I'm totally sure Andy's mom would have wanted him to go watch this in theaters. So the people that said Lightyear, Andy would have hated this movie. It's a joke that's running around the internet. Andy would have hated this movie. I 100% agree. I don't think Andy's mom, if this genuinely took place in 1997, I don't think Andy's mom would let him go watch this dog shit. Like I said, back in those days, it was a different time. Honestly, a better time, in my opinion. But it was a different time. And I don't think Andy's mom would have let him see that. I think this movie would have got pulled from theaters if it was in 1997. So just more Disney propaganda bullshit, garbage plot, and let's get into the sort of Up. So they try and do an Up scene, right? You guys remember Up? Great film. I put it at 7 out of 8. I actually put it right at the top here of this tier, right? So it's a great film. Out of all the 7 to 8 ranked movies, right? These are some of the highest ranked films I ranked on my tier list. I actually put Up as the gatekeeper of just what an amazing film is compared to a great film. So I thought Up was good. It just needed a little bit more, iconic quotes and lines to make it really iconic. Right? You think back to like Monsters, Inc. or Toy Story or even The Incredibles. You think of these very quotable lines like, you are a toy, There's a bunch of these kind of lines from these films. Even like Finding Nemo. When that film came out, I was a schoolboy back in those days. And everybody in class was like, mine. I don't know if you guys remember this. Were you kids when Finding Nemo was around? Everybody in school was doing that for weeks after this, months even. When this film came out, everybody kept doing the seagull, mine. And so like, I just feel like the Pixar films nowadays, they don't have that iconic traction. You don't really hear like, who the fuck quotes Luca? Like it's nobody quotes Luca. But like these films, okay, Wall-E kind of not as quotable, but I really thought Wall-E had such an interesting story that it was so different than all the other Pixar films that I wanted to put it somewhere special, and I put it right at the end of the best of the best. So, but these films, these are the iconic ones. These are the ones where you remember a lot of the scenes, the music, the banter between Mike and Sully. Like they had great play on different characters and amazing quotes, Even like Syndrome, right? Everybody remembers that quote where it's like, when everybody's super, no one is, or whatever, it was something like that. I think that was the quote, right? But you guys know what I'm talking about. Like these films had a different place in the culture compared to the ones below them, for sure. And so back to Lightyear. So they try to do this Up. They try to do an Up, okay? Where it's like they try and tug at your heartstrings, where it's like, in the beginning of Up, Ellie and Carl, right? They have this, we see them getting older. Same thing in Lightyear. We see them getting older. They're a married couple, and eventually Ellie passes away, right? It's very tragic. a lot of people, even my mom doesn't usually like, comment on these types of movies, unless we watch them with her. But she was even like, oh, what a sad, Up. She really remembers that film because of the sad beginning, right? And so Lightyear tried to do it too, right? But there's just a problem. So they try to do, Lightyear doesn't really, like, we understand that he's friends with his whatever her name was, Commander Harwarn, whatever her name was. We understand that they've been doing it for a while. They've been like, on patrols together. They have a relationship. It's not a sexual relationship. It's just like a friendly, like, they're co-workers. It's a co-worker companionship, right? But they know each other. Buzz mentions earlier in the film that he originally, he was going to quit. He didn't want to be a space ranger, but it was actually her. She said that she saw something in Buzz Lightyear and he was going to stick to it after that. So he wasn't a quitter. And so it's like in Up, I feel it was much more down to earth, right? The story of Up is what we live. It's what we live every day. Literally it happened to my grandfather this year. He passed away. They were holding my grandmother and, they were holding hands. They made it to their elder years and he just passed away. He got a little bit of a sick pneumonia. He actually didn't die of COVID. He actually died of pneumonia earlier this year. And, he passed away, leaving behind my grandmother. And it's just a sad seeing Up. You know it's coming, right? You know it's coming for you. You know you're going to get older. You know it's going to happen where you could lose your significant other, right? Your spouse or husband or whatever. And it was really special when they did it in Up. When it comes to Lightyear, there was no natural progression here. This is literally Buzz Lightyear. He fucked up. He made a giant mistake that cost everybody everything, right? They could no longer go back to their, their whole, is it like their home world? Was it Earth? I don't even know. They weren't able to go back to like Star Command or whatever the fuck, right? So poor Buzz, or not poor Buzz. Because of Buzz Lightyear's screw up, he decides to fix his own mistake, right? So everybody, not poor Buzz, but poor everyone else that had to suffer because of Buzz's, didn't want to work together with other people. There was another guy that he could have asked to pull up the ship there, and he's like, no, I'm Buzz Lightyear, I could do it myself, and he messes up, right? So Buzz could have did it, Buzz could have asked someone for help, but he didn't. He's a screw up, and he wants to fix his mistake. And so we see this, time and time. So 4 years pass, then and this is why we eventually see the black commander marry the white lady, and the whole like lesbian situation occurs, and the kiss, and the marriage, and the pregnancy, whatever. And then as time goes on, eventually enough time goes on where he appears there. He finishes another routine where he fails, right? And and he walks into the office and he doesn't see her because she's dead, right? She is dead. She died. She passed away, and they try to make it feel like you could tell it was Up. It was literally like they try to pull at your heartstrings like it was Up, but because the plot was time travel, it just didn't feel natural to me, where it was like Up, you just see them age gracefully. Like they're just aging. They're aging like every other human would do. Buzz had this unnatural state where he caused the death. And later in the film, we find out that Zurg, who is also Buzz Lightyear, because remember, this film is based off of the movie that Andy would have seen. And so like everything needs to fit the plots, the plot points that were described in Toy Story, which is really weird because in Toy Story, it is frequently mentioned that Buzz has like a laser, and we only see that for a very short time. Like Buzz Lightyear does not use a laser in this film. Okay, hold on. He does, but not to the extent that we saw it used in Toy Story. You know what I mean? So, Andy's using Buzz's little light laser on his arm. We don't we see it like one time and then they forget about it, you know? It was just baffling in my opinion. Just it was like they were trying to put together like clothes, clothes that have holes in them. It's like they try to stitch together like a rag, just like an amalgamation. They stitched it's a Frankenstein monster. They tried to put a different bunch of pieces to create a new monster, a new being of life, and it just didn't work for me personally. And so, yeah, that's what they try to do. They try to just mash together all these plot points from Toy Story. And one of the gimmicks is that, yes, Zurg, like it was stated in Toy Story 2, is Buzz Lightyear, right? We are, they are the same person, just from a different timeline. There was a splitting of timelines where in one timeline, Buzz meets the team, right? He meets the team there, and then it seems like Zurg is actually the original Buzz Lightyear that never stopped giving up, right? And Zurg tells Buzz, "We can fix this, man. We can, He's telling Buzz Lightyear, like, no, it doesn't have to be like this. We can fix this issue. We can go back in time and fix this." And Buzz Lightyear, even though he caused the entire mess, he caused everything to happen in the first place, he doesn't even want to fix his own mess. He's like, no. These people had a life here while I was off gallivanting in space trying to fix my mistake. These people have a life. And I'm just like, no, I was like, no, they could have had a way better life if they were able to fly back to fucking Star Command. He's like, oh, just think of all the people, the black commander wouldn't have met the lesbian if I hadn't, got us stranded here. And I'm just out here like, yeah, but she also could have gone to Star Command, when they returned to Star Command. There would have been a larger gene pool of people to mate with, like, get the fuck out of here with this film. So I was having none of this garbage. I actually side with Zurg. I am on the side of evil in this film. I think Zurg was right all along. Buzz Lightyear is a bitch. He wasn't even voiced by Tim Allen. They got the guy who did Captain America. Yeah, what was his name? Chris Evans? That bitch, yeah. They got Chris Evans, the Twitter bitch himself, to voice, I want to make sure I'm fact checking this. Okay, hold on. Chris Evans, Lightyear? Just want to make sure that's correct. Yes, it was Chris Evans. He did sound close enough, but no, it's not the same without Tim Allen. Not the same without, I'm no fan. If you guys have seen the politics of Chris Evans, I am no fan of that guy, by any stretch of the imagination. Not a fan. And I think it would have been a lot better with actually, it's probably better that Tim Allen wasn't attached to this fucking train wreck dumpster fire. But yeah, he did a close enough type of job here. But I didn't like Buzz Lightyear's motivations. He didn't feel like a hero. He really didn't feel like a hero. It's literally like, I made this mistake, and instead of fixing it, these people have a life now, but they could have had a way better life. If you just go back in time and fix it, they would have a way better life where they can return to their families. Hello? Like, what the fuck? The writing is just garbage. What was this? Like I said, it's a Frankenstein's monster. They took every plot point from all the Toy Story films about Buzz Lightyear, they crammed it in, and were like, we can make something of this fucking freakish mess. And this is the film that was produced. It was unnecessary, and don't even get me started on the character. Okay, holy mother. I made a film, not a film. I made a video talking about how when I saw the trailer and I saw Buzz Lightyear had Socks the cat, I was like, no, please, not again. I wanted Buzz Lightyear to be a more serious film, because I feel like with the MCU and modern day Pixar, everything's just a joke. You look at Turning Red, it's like, we're all here there's no fucking villain. We're all for laughs here, even Luca, I wanted a more serious film where it's like, this is serious. Like, people's lives are on the line. We're in space here. it's just another jokey film. You look at the first 5 minutes, they're just having like MCU banter back and forth, you know? They're doing quips with each other. Like, what the fuck? So I just could not stand the characters. Like, nobody in this film except, weirdly enough, I made a video about socks because like I said, I wanted it to be a serious film. I really did. I wanted it to be a serious film. And when I saw socks, I'm like, oh, great. It's the next fucking Disney mascot that nobody has. It's basically the next Minion, you know? And I had a very negative opinion of socks going into this film. But by the end of it, you know, socks wasn't bad at all. In fact, socks was, outside of Buzz Lightyear and socks, every other character was hot garbage. Literally, socks ended up saving, like, if socks wasn't in this movie, I might just give this a fucking 0. This movie was unwatchable without Socks the cat. My God, the other characters are just so unbelievably awful. And listen, folks, I talked about Finding Dory earlier this video, about the plot convenience, how Dory keeps finding the plot. She has like memory issues, and she keeps remembering where the direction of the plot is. And there's all these contrivances, there's all these conveniences. And this is what happens in Lightyear, except it's weird because they're just all a bunch of clumsy assholes. They literally, it's like they're in a room with a bunch of bugs, right? Not Buzz Lightyear. They're in a room with these like insects, right? And it's like, okay, we can go through here, no problem. There doesn't have to be any conflict. One of these clumsy oaf motherfuckers goes and sets off like an alarm or something and causes all of the insects to wake up, causing the plot, you know, to move forward. So half of the events in this film are literally just these clumsy assholes making mistakes that cause the movie to have a longer runtime. And Buzz is talking about these people like they're top tier by the end of the film, right? It's like there's a the officer that takes over for the original black commander. She gets replaced by a black guy, right? Another black commander, but he's actually a guy this time. And that guy wants to shut down the program, which is why Buzz Lightyear flees, right? That's why he gets out of there and goes into the future a little bit further. Because him and Socks were able to create the formula to get the hyperdrive or whatever it was called. Basically, Buzz Lightyear had the functioning time travel ready to go, and he wouldn't give it to Zurg. Like, Zurg would have saved everything, I think. There's no proof to say that Zurg wouldn't have saved the day. I think he would have. He didn't even seem like that bad of a villain, you know? And by the way, at the very end of the movie, it is confirmed that he lives. But God, I do not want another Buzz Lightyear film or like in this style. I don't want to see any more garbage like this, like ever again. I want fresh movies that like are actually part of the, you know, there's this whole Pixar timeline. I want fresh stuff. I don't want this like, you know, where does this go in the Pixar thing? Well, it obviously goes right before Toy Story because this is the movie Andy and folks go to watch. And that's another thing. Why give us the exposition at the beginning and tell us this is the film Andy go? Why not show Andy and his mom getting ready to go to Lightyear? And like, what the fuck? They ruined, you literally could have had Toy Story. You could have had Andy. You could have had Molly. You could have Andy's mom. You could have these recognizable characters from Toy Story in the film. And you decide, no, let's just give a black screen of exposition telling us this is the film Andy went to. Just not good. Not good. Not good at all. They really could have done this a lot differently, and I was not happy with it. And going back to the characters, yeah, we got a demolition expert that's an old lady. It's basically a token diversity team. Let's be real here. It's literally a token diversity team. And there was the brown, kind of ambiguous, you don't know what background he is. You know, it's kind of like Brock from Pokemon. He could be like any ethnicity that's brown, right? And then he does have a bit of an Australian accent, but whatever. And then, or was it an English or Australian? I can't remember. And then the black, the granddaughter, that's the only character that really makes sense to be here, the granddaughter of the original Hathorn. The other two are just like the main guy, the Australian sounding guy, he's just a clumsy asshole that fucks things up. And he literally just extends the runtime for no reason, because this movie would have been a disaster, if they didn't have conflict. The only memorable part of this movie that I actually enjoyed was the sandwich bit, where, Buzz Lightyear had been gone for so long that maybe they were having a food shortage, and they convinced people that, sandwiches should only have one slice of bread. That was like the only funny, interesting part of the film. Other than that, it's like, God, there was like nothing here. There was nothing here. Zurg was good to some extent, but like, I think Zurg should have just won. I literally think like it would have been a better film if Zurg won. Like literally, it literally would have been a better film if Zurg won. And I'm not kidding. It would have fixed the entire timeline. And sure, she doesn't meet her lesbian friend or whatever the fuck, and some of these losers here aren't born. Socks the cat was never created because there was no need to create Socks the cat. They only created him as a companion for Buzz, right? And so it's like these people could have easily been deleted from the time. Like, these are not memorable characters. These are garbage side characters that could have been left behind. They're just oafs. They're oafs. I get it. They're the whole gimmick with them was that Buzz says that he doesn't like rookies, and he gets paired with rookies, of course, right? It's a Pixar film. He has to face and expand his horizons. And I get that they're rookies, but like, my God, did they have to be responsible for like every plot detail going wrong? Like, holy fuck. So I just thought that part was the plot was just a disaster. It was also revealed by the original writer that Buzz had like a love interest that was cut out of the film by Disney at Disney's bequest, possibly. So Buzz Lightyear lost his love interest so that the commander, that black commander could exist, possibly. I don't know. But I think, like I said, it would have been much more impactful if Buzz Lightyear actually had a romantic interest. Like, that was what was originally intended by the director. And they decided to go against the plot there, which made Buzz's love, like, he just doesn't have, it feels like Buzz just never has a relationship in this film with anyone, but that's meaningful. Like, he makes friends with someone, they die, Socks is a robot that's mostly monotone, and, I guess he likes being around Buzz, but, like, he's a robot, and it's like these side characters are just, oh my God, they worship him as this legendary figure. Meanwhile, he was the one that fucking stranded them in there in the first place. It's just bizarre. Also, I really don't like how they gloss. We spend all this time on these stupid side characters. Meanwhile, we don't even really get much of a good backstory on Zurg, right? Like, they mentioned he finds like an alien ship. I wanted to know a lot more about the alien ship that he found and the robots and where did they come from, Like, what's the backstory there? I wanted to know a lot more about Zurg and the original Buzz timeline, and they just don't give it to us. They spend too much time on these rookie garbage people. And, yeah, that's basically the film. Am I forgetting anything? I mean, like I said, like, I don't think I did laugh. Like, Socks the cat maybe was the only giggle I got. Like, when he hits them with a dart and, like, I bought you 5 minutes. Maybe that was, like, the only, like, giggle. And the bologna sandwich thing was, like I said, was probably one of the only memorable scenes from this movie. And, yeah, it's like also one of the things I'm thinking about now. In the beginning, it showed that there was that, like, giant vine, like, this planet is inhabited with a giant vine monster. And almost like 100 years goes by, and it's not exactly clear if they even, like, vanquished that thing. Did they actually even defeat the plant monster that was like hibernating in the planet? At the beginning, the root, one of the vines, literally pulls one of the like rookies down under the ground or something, and almost kills him. And I'm just out here like, Buzz stranded these people on this planet with like a vicious vine creature of some manner. And we don't really get a resolution. Did that creature die? Is it still there? It mentions later on that they did build a barrier, so they have to live in fear every time they go out. Like, what is happening in this film? And also there's alien insects, and is that where they get the bologna? Because where did they get the cows from, right? Like, there were insects in the film, but how the fuck did they get bologna? I don't know. Maybe they've been eating each other. Maybe they're cannibals. That's where they got the bologna from. There's a theory for everyone. They're just cannibal. Man, I have a lot of theories about this one. You know, one of the girls is just a whore. The bologna is cannibalism. Just human meat. It's just human meat. Just a lot of stupidity in this film. I really didn't enjoy it. This is not a film you ever want to watch a second time. You know what I mean? Some of these, like, man, you put Toy Story on, I'll watch that shit. You put, like, any of these films, and I'd probably watch them. Maybe, you know, WALL-E, I don't know. WALL-E's has its boring scenes here and there, you know. It's not a very talkative movie. But out of all these, like, top ones here, even this row here, it's like, you put these films on, yeah, I'd probably watch them again. I'd sit down and watch them again. You put on these films, I'm just like, hell no. Especially The Good Dinosaur. Good God, who would want to watch that a second time? But that was basically Lightyear in a nutshell. Just a lot of nonsense, garbage writing, you know, bad characters. Like I said, Socks the Cat was the standout here. And outside, and it's like weird because here's the thing, right? This is the movie Andy's seen. This is the movie Andy went to go see. Wouldn't he want a Socks the Cat to match his Buzz Lightyear? In the toy store, wouldn't we have seen Socks the Cat merchandise, right? So it's very clear that Socks the Cat was a bizarre addition that probably shouldn't have been here if this was a lore accurate movie, right? Like, why would Socks be so in the movie? Like, does Buzz ever mention Socks the Cat? I don't think so, right? Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. But you know, Socks probably shouldn't have been there, even though he was the standout of the film. And also another thing is that when they do like movie merchandise, they usually try and sell all the characters. So was it Toy Story 1 or 2 where they go into or maybe it was Toy Story 3. Was it Toy Story 3 with Barbie? And yeah, I can't, whichever one they go to the toy store. I don't remember off the top of my head. But there's all the like Buzz Lightyears, and they did there was a good couple of references in this film compared to like Toy Story where they were in their little pods, and you know, some of the ship that like Buzz drives is similar to the packaging that we see in like, was it Toy Story 2, I think. So we've seen some of these, we've seen these good references here and there in the film, but that wasn't enough to save it. You can't just rely on references and cameos. You can't do it. You can't do it for a film like this. And if you could do that, why the fuck wasn't Andy in here? Why was Andy not? We needed to start the film with Andy and his little sister getting ready. You know, Andy, remember he used to wear that little red hat back in the day, the little red cowboy hat. It would have been great to see Andy bringing his toy Woody into the theater. And, you know, maybe, well, I guess that would have ruined, maybe he wouldn't bring Woody because then Woody would have known about Buzz Lightyear beforehand. And then that would have ruined the plot of Toy Story 1. Yeah, so I guess he can't really bring Woody. Even though, like, in the original Toy Story 1, it sounded like he brings Woody everywhere with him. Or to at least important places, like a movie theater. So, I don't know. My mom's calling me. Okay, yeah, this has been a long hour. I'm gonna wrap it up. So that's where I put Lightyear. Dog shit movie. I want to hear oh my god, I feel like the comment section is gonna be wild here. Wild comment section. Maybe I shouldn't have gone on for an hour, but that's gonna be it from me. Please like, please share, please subscribe. And why not watch an ad for your boy Sandro? And like I said, I can't wait to hear your theories on how the hell that woman, the lesbian woman, got pregnant. Can't wait to hear that down below. I am standing by my theory, and and that's going to be it. Have yourselves a great day, and hopefully you never have to watch this horrible movie again. Or if you've never seen Lightyear, and maybe you just watch this you watch my review so that you didn't have to watch Lightyear in the first place. You just watch my review. You don't even have to watch this garbage. You know, just take one. I took one for the team. I watched it so you don't have to. And that's going to be it. So see you later. Have a great day and bye-bye.